it like he does me all the time.
But you are. Never forget it. You dumb, don't forget it.
Don't forget it.
Don't forget it.
Yeah.
Yay. Hi, I'm Robbie Delaney. My wife Caroline and I started Muddy River back in 2011 with 35 bottles a day and a still named Freedom built in my parents' backyard. Year by year, we steadily grew the company into 6,000 square feet, our second location, taking our 30 bottles a day production to 1,300 bottles a day production. This is our first 4-year barrel done. We've outgrown our space in Belmont, so now we're moving the entire production upriver, up the Catawba, up Dutchman's Creek. Our new home will be the Mount Holly Cotton Mill, where we're doing a full historic restoration.
No, I'm making donuts. Prefer donuts.
Right now we just do the tours and tastings, but we're moving to Mount Holly in April.
Going from 6,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet, we'll not only manufacture, bottle, and package our rum, we'll also have a full-service cocktail bar with a restaurant, private event spaces, a venue for concerts, shows, and festivals. Follow along as we transform this property from mill to still. Welcome back to part 2 of From Mill to Still's closeout finale. Part 2 of how many, I don't know. If you didn't catch part 1, it's somewhere that you can just grab that link and check it out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're covering the last 8 months of construction on the Mount Holly Cotton Mill as we move Muddy River Distillery into it, and it's all pretty intense. I went to the backyard to talk to you guys today about some more fun aspects of construction. One of my favorite parts was setting power poles and getting twinkly lights in our backyard. We have 5 acres of property, 800 feet of frontage on Dutchman's Creek. All right, so I saw that as, you know, where most people look at a floodplain and say, ugh, I don't want that. I saw that as an opportunity to throw festivals and concerts and events and things like that. And to really make that atmosphere, we degrubbed everything. We cleaned all the kudzu out and made the forest look nice. And we also put 800 feet of twinkly lights up. So we set poles in the backyard. That was super fun. I stole the utility guy's excavator and just started snatching poles and shoving them in the ground. That was fun and scary at the same time. And then we ran twinkly lights across, and the backyard is just amazing. On my phone, I can turn on this backyard and like ambient lighting, or I can hit what we call the pole lights, and it looks like a football stadium once we turn the big lights on, but it's really cool. And that allows us to throw concerts and have festivals back here and really set the mood. So super excited about that, and that was a fun thing for me to do. The downside to being in a floodplain, you get all this nice, amazing property, you don't get, you get flooded. I don't know how else to say that, but you get flooded back here. We've been flooded in the last 8 months 3 times. 3 times, once in January, once in August, almost again, no wait, once in January, almost in May, again in August, and then Helene got us real good in September. So the January flood was kind of a, aha, we're under construction, no one cares. It flooded for the first time in a couple years. And I had some equipment down here I had to go get, and we didn't lose anything. The water comes up, and when it recedes, whatever that word is, when it goes back down, it leaves this nice white sand. It's amazing. So then again in August it floods, and in August it was like the water just came up out of nowhere and immediately went down. We had established grass and everything back here, so it was like almost like nothing happened. Backing up really quick in May, we had like a freaking tornado come through here, and I happened to catch this footage of just the wind whipping. It was crazy. I thought all these trees were coming down. I was really scared, but that passed and it wasn't a big deal. Helene was another story. The water didn't just come up, which normally a flood would come up to about here. The flood from Helene brought us all the way to here. That's how high the water got at Helene. The brick is soaking higher than the water actually got. You can see the indicators better on this, these posts for the deck and the power poles, but it was high. I mean, that's 8 feet or 7 feet, 7.5 feet-ish from the ground I'm standing on. It was a raging river. It was quite spectacular to witness. In the factory, we were 18 inches from getting our feet wet. And so we went in and we put everything up on pallets and moved all the pumps off the ground. Most importantly, the liquor and the barrels were off the ground in anticipation for it coming in. And we were fortunate during that flood. A lot of people west of us were not, but that was a scary one. So hopefully that was, you know, once in a lifetime situation, and the normal floods are fine. We did a lot of work, as you've probably seen in these mill to still videos, where we prepared for the flooding. So on the other side of me, and you can see this used to be a vent for the crawl space. This crawl space was empty and up to 12 feet deep underneath the original first floor, which was made of wood. We convinced the National Park Service that in order to stabilize this building, you couldn't replace the rotten wood because the water intrusion would keep it wet. It would never last. So the best thing to do would be to backfill the crawl space, which we did with 200 dump trucks of fill, all wash stone, 57 stone because of the compaction. And that allowed us to you know, basically bring the building itself out of the floodplain. So you still have the footings below ground here sitting on actual granite. And then you have the brick coming up. This brick is 28 inches thick. Behind that brick is stone filled to just above my fingers here. And it's pretty intense, but that allows these floodwaters to come in, wash along the building and not affect it. And so that's kind of cool. So because of the flooding and the fact that we don't know, lately it's flooded so many times, so frequently, we're starting to shift our usage of the loading dock. We started doing concerts on the loading dock. We're rethinking building the barrel house up here. This was originally built to be where we stored our barrels. Now we're thinking this may be like our wedding venue, concert hall, you know, more consistently safe and secure spot to hang out and enjoy nature, but from above the floodplain. We have 4,000 square feet right here that we can play around with, not counting the pit where we can throw concerts. It's really cool to see how this is evolving. Back to like the construction of all this wall came with the building and it's been here since I think the 40s or 50s. And we had Jake come in and waller out all these holes and put all these pipes in. We went to Sundrop a year, almost 2 years ago, and we looted the factory. We went to Choice Beverage, just took all sorts of good piping and pumps, thanks to the help of a friend that said he was selling the property. We've repurposed all of those pipes as these railings. Not all of them, we use pipes in our processes and so many things that we're doing with this stuff that we're upcycling, but Jake came through and he cut all these pipes. He drilled all these holes in all these pipes and set these cable railings. So it's really, if you watch Jake, you know, from the beginning, he's sitting here drilling all these holes, right? And he drills the holes in the concrete, knocks the core out. Then he goes back and he cuts all these pipes. And then on it, we made a jig up and then he starts drilling the holes in the pipe. So this would be an intermediate pipe where it has one size hole, and this is an end pipe where it has a bigger hole. Then we bought miles of cable railing and just ran cable railing. Now you got to have a maximum through deflection of 4 inches between each rail. And so it's, you know, it's kind of a pain in the butt to do, but we did it and it looks amazing. It doesn't obstruct your view. Because it's not super high up in the air, I feel like it's safe for children and families and all sorts of people to, you know, to rely on. We've got this 2x6 cap on it so that, you know, you can put your drink, you know, and do that. And yeah, it really makes this loading dock useful. So I think that's really all we did. You can see down on the end there, we have a sprinkler pipe stub up, so we could sprinkle a building if we built it here. And that was all part of putting our utilities in when we did the utilities for the whole project. But yeah, loading dock's looking pretty cool. The last section of work that we really had to get done in here before moving on to the inside of the building was what we call like the jewelry, all the nonsense from decades of previous owners and what they use the building for, getting all that off the building and then sealing up penetrations and things like that. So back in the day, a lot of these windows were sealed up. We obviously rebuilt the windows. There was the original holes where the water wheel and the spillway was around this area where that had to go back into the building. That was already bricked up, but we had to point that up because it didn't look very good. And then we had, we bricked up these as we backfilled. We had a furnace right here, I believe. And Cody and me took that down with the man lift one day. That was a lot of fun. So this hole is where the furnace went through the building. And here's us, you know, messing around and taking that smokestack down. That was kind of a big monumental moment, taking it from the old way of life to how it looks now. And then from there, we proceeded to dig this footing and get started on the porch, which the porch, being in a floodplain and seeing the floodwaters come through, we built a massive footing. If you check out this footing, it's 50 feet long by, I guess, 8 feet wide and super deep. We had to do soil tests and get some expert opinions from specialized engineers on how to build a proper footing in this kind of weird silty sand to carry that kind of weight. We built a porch on the back. Not quite as intense as building the staircase for egress purposes, but far more useful. The porch on the back of this building is 50 feet by 15 or 16 feet, and it's pretty awesome. It's a concrete deck. It holds 50 people all day. And now that the weather is kind of turning around, we're really getting some good use out of it. We got some awnings for shade, and they can come down to the loading dock and enjoy concerts, but also like, I'm picturing having concerts down in the river or creek and just watching it from up there. It's gonna be spectacular. The view is just amazing, especially when the sun's going down and just kind of see the nature and stuff like that. And it's nice out here. Porch was totally worth it. It was a lot, but it was worth it. All the furniture out here, sponsored by Facebook Marketplace and my back porch. My deck has no furniture on it right now, but it feels pretty good to be sitting out here. Just taking in the view, drinking rum. I mean, what else could you ask for? Best bar in the Carolinas. I think that's gonna do it. Part 2 is done. Done enough. There's still so much to talk about. So stay tuned, subscribe and comment about part 3. We'll launch these weekly, so you're gonna need time to process them. I know, it's a lot. This construction was a lot, that's for sure. We're gonna move to the inside of the building for part 3. So that's gonna be really exciting. We'll talk about the entryway, we'll talk about the bar, tile work, the finishes, the trims, the stressful last 10% of the job that no one likes to do. That's coming up in part 3. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe because we also have MRD TV that'll launch when we really do end the series. And thank you so much. Cheers. This is just how I stand and do things.
Light is giving it.
Ooh, dizzy.
Okay, you're good. Whenever you're ready.
I forgot.
Bye.
Why does the furniture not match, you ask? Well, I'll tell you why. Facebook Marketplace. And the porch from my house.
Okay, you're ready.
Are you ready? Do I look good? I'm just kidding, I always look good.
Action.